It's Hot Topics Friday on Jasiri, and you already know it's time for unfiltered conversations, bold takes, and some of the biggest stories that Nigerians were talking about this week. But that's not all. We've got a special guest in the building. He's a Nollywood star known for his commanding presence on screen and his ability to bring unforgettable characters to life. From blockbuster films to critically acclaimed roles, he has carved out a unique space in the industry for himself. And today he joins us to share his journey and also his take on some of the trending debates and maybe even a few surprises along the way. You never know. Who is he? I can't tell you now. You just have to wait and find out. But first.
Yep. I'm liking this, but first. It's like we have housekeeping to get to before we get into our main conversations. So before our Hot Topic special guest joins us on the table, Jasiri took to the streets to get Nigerians' reactions to the controversy around NYSC core member Ushe Rae's viral TikTok videos that caused quite a stir this week. Let's hear what she had to say.
Firstly, I came to buy this flower. So we bought the flower around, like, let's say 2 weeks ago, around 4,400. But coming back now, it's like 4,000 now. So I believe maybe the stuff is coming down. But about like last week or last upper week, I went to my 12 to buy like all this food stuff. So I believe pepper and all this kind of stuff went up. So the food stuff doesn't stand in one ratio. It's going down, coming up, going down, coming up. The food stuff is from 20. But I don't know about right now because I haven't gone back to my 12 to know what is going about. But now the food stuff is just going up, coming down, going up, coming down. So the food stuff affects, if you go to another person or the market woman that sells stuff, it affects everybody. It affects everybody. It's just that the stuff is not doesn't stand in one place. It's going up, coming down, going up, coming down.
Like price of things have really changed. Like the other day now, like the price of beans, even the rice. Like I bought a half bag of rice of 35,000. Unlike before that, it's 50,000. So it's coming down. It's okay.
Inflation has not dropped. It's still the same way. Everything has, like, they are still the same. Nothing changed. Because if you go to the market now, before you buy food stuff for like 5,000, but now if you want to buy food stuff, just prepare like 30,000. I'm very serious. Meat now, you cannot meat now big people something, but nothing is dropping. Nothing is dropping.
Not really, because the price of groundnut oil is still high. Rice, some people cannot afford it. It's still on the high side.
The product in the market, like I'm just coming from the market, I observe that rice came down, the prices of beans got down, but not reflecting all the food items in the market. You know, some are still on the high side. It's not really reflected because it's not everyone that's complying with the prices of. Some are still high, some are complying with the prices. So it's not really reflected. It's not everyone that can notice that the inflation has really ongoing.
It's affecting every home. Fuel price, first of all, initially it's not supposed to increase, it's not supposed to remove subsidy, fuel subsidy. That's the very biggest mistake he made. That's one thing. Now that aside, that has happened. We are living by it. You know, Nigerians, we know how to adjust to hard things. No matter how hard it is, we'll adjust, we'll live by it. But it is affecting us. Truth be told, it is affecting every home. Prices of things has not reduced. We hear that fuel price now has now reduced to 800 or 8 something. It is not, we can't see the reduction. It's not having any effect on the food price and everything. So they should please do something about that too.
I'm surprised when people say prices of goods are reducing, because I'm not sure about that. The last time I went to the markets, or the last time even when Lolo was talking about buying a live chicken, I think she bought that for 9.5. And I know for a fact that chicken has gone up. I know for a fact that rice has gone up. I'm not sure about beans and other staples, but I know that. So I don't know, maybe it's yin-yang, people who have had the product for a while and who are selling it are probably selling it at the same price. But I don't really think that prices of goods are reducing.
And you know, that was what we were saying about the about what the president's people were saying about Ramadan, that prices were coming down and they were laying that at the feet of the president and were saying, but okay, let's wait till Ramadan is over, because some have said, you know, when you go to a major holiday, you typically see prices in Nigeria rise, but this is not just a major holiday, this is something that actually spans the course generally of a month. And so that can be of impact as well, but will it continue beyond the month, and it really is a rise or a decrease as it may be? Some days I don't even want to look. I just give my nanny, I spend the amount of money. I tell her this is what we need to buy. Use that money to buy everything on the list in whatever proportion the money can buy. And then I let her know what the absolute priorities are, and then what the non-negotiables are. Okay, you know what? I wanted to buy maybe banana. If you don't have enough money, leave the banana, leave the plantain. Let me have enough money to get the ewedu, the F4. I want to make a goosey this weekend. I'm looking at things like, okay, I'm supposed to use dry fish. Do you know how much those fish? Oh, wow. That you pieces and with the dry panla that you put inside soup and he's like gold catfish. Now.
Catfish, dry catfish, you're looking at from 2.5 to 3K.
For what? For the catfish, whole one?
For the one that bends, the dried one, dried catfish that you break, and it's chunky in the, because I don't think it comes in pairs. No, it doesn't come in pairs.
It doesn't come in, it's not mated for life.
It's just one. Take one as you go. Then the stockfish. People, before we grew up with stockfish being such a delicacy.
And so abundant.
Pride themselves in stockfish being delicacy. But now, 1,500 stockfish, you're getting the crumbs.
If you put it inside the soup, it has disappeared.
It disappears.
And before we had options in the soup.
Do you understand?
Is it distractions or obstructions?
Obstructions, obstacles and obstructions.
Obstacles, exactly. But now you just have one option. Whatever you see, if it's periwinkle, that's what you see all through. If it's, in fact, egg inside soup, if people could do it, they'll do it. And then you wonder why someone is complaining about a terrible administration. I don't know how. The major fear for me is the fact that things do not calm down in Nigeria. Whatever goes up does not calm down for certain reason, especially because everybody seems to be opportunistic. So even when they say, oh, the price of this is better now, they will say, no, the price of this should be better now. And it's not even food stuff, furniture, every single thing you can think of. Oh my, I moved houses at the absolute wrong time, because everything was freaking expensive. And I don't know how long we can continue like this. Again, we need to stop this whole thing about Nigerians being able to adapt with any situation, because I think that's what is making us actually adapt.
Yeah, but Nigerians are adapting effortlessly. People are getting pregnant every day.
Stop it now. You don't want them to be distracting themselves?
Oh, guys.
Catherine, that's a pastime. What's your problem?
I'm tailing off of what Blessing said. Like, it's absolutely the wrong time for, like, big projects, moving house, having babies. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but do you know what the price of milk is? Like, tin of baby milk is. That's enough. And not to talk of diapers, not to talk of wipes, or not to talk of if you're using napkins. So I don't know how long we can adapt or continue to adapt to situations like this that it seemingly has no end in sight.
And it rarely seems to have an end in sight. And now the issues of governance are being superseded by political dramas and maneuverings and intrigue. And we're all just here caught in the middle and in the grass, unfortunately, at a time like this. We don't want to take too much of their time. We have a guest who's standing by, and we're going to get his perspectives and get to know him a little bit better as we have a Hot Topic special today. So let's take a quick time out. Coming up, we have a very special guest. We have stories that take you to the National Assembly, to the Kogi. Blessings, your people this week. To the Kogi State House of Assembly. We also have updates on the Ibadan Stampede for you, and much more. Hopefully, if time allows, that is the much more. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Blessings.
You're still live with us on Jessiri, and briefly, we felt the pulse of the people, and it's no news to any of us. But welcome back to the show. You're still watching Jessiri right here on News Central Television. And now it's time to introduce our guest, because a goldfish has no hiding place. You'll understand what I mean in a moment. Let's roll the montage.
Now let's welcome actor, former banker, sometime comedian, car aficionado, and much more, Damilola Goldfish Ogunsi to Jasiri. I love He's taking his time. He's the present.
Listen, a man has got to have his James Bond.
I think it's a swag.
Absolutely.
I'm so lucky. I mean,
you're very lucky.
Three amazing ladies, man. It's going to be a good day.
It's a good thing that Lola's not here. Because Lola would have just no. She will not share you with anybody else on this table.
She probably would have put you there and sat here.
I trust her.
Literally. Welcome to the show, Dami.
Welcome.
It's so great to have you.
Great to have you.
So with everything that's going on in the country, we usually have a standard question we ask our guests when they sit on this seat.
Special.
With all the political drama, with all the economic hardship, with everything else in between. So how are you? Don't just say I'm fine. How are you really? Not how far or how now. Dami, how are you? I love you.
But honestly, I'm actually fantastic. I'm really good.
Nigeria.
So no, wait. So before you go to Nigeria, so the thing is, so what I've decided a very long time ago is that the world can be a certain way, but what's my response? Do I have to cry? Do I have to throw myself on the ground? What can I do? I'll do my best. Enjoy myself. So my father said one thing, that a problem that is everybody's problem is not a problem. So dollar is the same. Dollar is the same amount for you and me. It's the same. So what can I do? So what I've decided to do is that in the midst of all this,
a problem that's everybody's problem.
A problem that is a general problem is no longer your problem. That means that everybody is feeling it. So if I'm crying, then you're crying, then we're all crying. Then it's the same thing. Then what can we do?
So there's no personalizing it.
You can't personalize it now. You can't say that Nigeria is hurting me more than it's hurting you. In the same Nigeria that we're in. So what's my response to it? So I've decided that I'm just going to pick a response. And my response is, I'll enjoy my life, what's available with the people I love, do the best of my work, and continue to live.
That's such a positive.
That's what I've decided to do. That's what I've chosen to do. So I'm fine. I'm enjoying myself. It's tight, but I good. It's tight for everybody too now.
But don't say everybody. You know, there's the 1% of the 5% of the 10%. It's not tight for everybody.
They have their own country.
You know that when we say everybody, we know the everybody that we are talking about.
We know who we're talking about.
Everybody.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's such a positive disposition. I wish I could say I'll adopt it, but no.
No.
Complain every day until something is done. Anyways, we have stories that we'll get into because, like we have established, everybody's going through a lot. A lot is going through everybody. A lot has become a person in Nigeria, and if you don't know who a lot is, then you're not going through it. Anyways, before we go into our stories, I want to ask a question. Where did the nickname Goldfish come from?
Oh, come on. We're going to do this today?
We're going to do it today.
Of course.
Okay, all right. So I get, I really get excited to tell the story most times. So there are two sides of it. There's the, if I say so now and everybody starts looking, so there's the criminal side of it and there's the romantic side of it. So which one do you want?
Both.
Wow.
So it's like choosing between, do you want good news first or bad news first? But personally for me, give me the good news first and then tell me the bad news.
Let me just give you a little bit of both. So this is how the name came to be about. So the first time this name came, I attended a missionary primary school where we had a convent, and there was this thing about, pupils shouldn't go to the convent during school hours. So the way I was raised by my parents, I was never treated differently, so I've always believed, and which I always believe, that I'm black. And of course, I'm black. He's the blackest guy in this room right now. So I went to the convent with my friends during school hours, and they caught us, and they shouted, and we ran away. And they didn't bother to chase us, funny enough. So before the end of the day, that's how one of the priests and the headmaster came to the class and just came to pick me out. And he said that, don't you know that you are a goldfish? And the goldfish has no hiding place. And that was the first time that name came up. And, so from primary school to, emceeing and comparing, I've had different nicknames along the line.
Yeah.
So that was the first time it came up. Then sometime later in about 2009, when I wanted to start my emceeing career, really started. So I was looking for different names I've had, different nicknames I've had, Damien, Bino, this, that. So I used to date one lovely lady then, and her sisters really liked me.
Okay.
So every time I went to their house, I would always say to them, when they're going to call her, and they'll call her and say, Jite, your goldfish is here. And so it came back again. So I then thought about it, the goldfish. So I decided that, okay, the next event I was going to do, that I was going to stick to it. So I told them, so I like being announced as the MC, like an announcer just announced that an MC is coming. You know, I like an entrance, you know, I just did one. So I told them that they should announce me as the Goldfish. And they did. And when I got there, as I started, by being announced, I got an applause for, like, it was like, okay, he's the Goldfish. And since then, I've adopted it, and of course...
I love it for you. Absolutely.
And it's been really working.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it for you.
Thank you.
So now we're going to stop smiling.
I'm trying.
Let's go to the story, because the stories are not... they are what they are. Blessings, what are we going to first?
Okay, so we're going to the first story, and it's the one about River State. So the president announced a state of emergency for River State on Tuesday evening. I'm sure you heard that already. While there has been debate about the constitutionality of his decision, well, I want us to look at the National Assembly. On Thursday, the House of Assembly, right, the House of Representatives voted to affirm the president's decision. They did a voice vote, as did the Senate. Now, in the Senate, lawmakers first held a closed-door meeting for 1 hour and 20 minutes where they agreed to support the proclamation. After returning to plenary, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, read a prepared resolution and put it to a voice vote. There was no open debate, and it appeared that no senator was heard opposing the motion when it was put to a voice vote.
All right, and so from there, Section 305(6)(b) of the Nigerian Constitution mandates that a state of emergency in any part of the country proclaimed by the president must be supported by a 2/3 majority of all the members of each house of the National Assembly. Now, many of us had hoped that the two chambers would adopt proper debate and voting procedures so that Nigerians would know the actual number of lawmakers that supported the president's declaration, who they were, and whether or not the constitutional requirements was met. With 109 senators and 360 rep members, this means that at least 73 senators and at least 240 representatives must vote in favor of the emergency rule. But now we don't know. And you cannot tell me that that is not deliberately. I mean, what if the person who was listening to the A's and the nays, what if the person was hard of hearing? What if the person does not hear A very well or hears only and doesn't hear N very well? But before we get Damilola's response, I want us to look at the reaction. No, Damilola, respond first. Because, you know, this is a very serious matter. I'm debating if we're going to talk about it. And it's not necessarily about the constitutionality, but you're voting to either support the president or not support him in declaring a vote, a state of emergency, and you're doing A and nay on a matter of national importance. Are we serious? Are we serious? Damilola, are we serious?
So the thing is, are we serious? Are we serious is a very interesting question. To a very large extent, to be very honest, let's be very honest, I don't think we're very serious. On certain matters, I think that we could respond better. The country could be better. We could have, you know, better decision makers and how things could be decided. Firstly, when I heard about it, you know, I have a sister who lives in Port Harcourt. And, you know, I heard about the night before, the day that the declaration was made, and about all the unrest and all the things that were going on there. Now, I'm not really into, you know, not like I'm not really into politics, but I'm not really following the story per se, because to a very large extent, I try to, like I said, shut out negativity as much as possible. I know of the rift going on in River State and all that, but I'm also concerned about how the decision was made, about the voice notes, and so it's like, is there something directly they've planned to do and they've just conspired and done it? So what happens in the Senate is a bit worrisome for me. You know, where do we really stand? Can we really trust the people who are there, or is there an agenda? So the way the decision was made is quite very worrisome, to be honest. That, okay, it feels like we're not carried along, and these things are done, and they just happen like that, and we're just meant to follow. You know, so it's a bit worrisome for me. I don't think that we're doing well as a country at the moment. The country is going through such a tough time that I don't think that decisions should just be made, you know, because people are complaining, people want to know what's going on, people need to be carried along, and it feels that there's just something happening and we're not really carried along.
And I think also National Assembly members need to be held responsible for their decisions. A voice vote is very difficult for you to say who said what. But I want to know how the senator representing my constituency, the House of Representative member representing my constituency, voted on certain matters. And I remember one time like that, I don't know if it was the gender and equal opportunity bills, after all the fur and the noise, I'm not sure if it was that particular debate. It was one bill that had passed, and the lawmaker came and said that he thought they were doing something else. That he thought he was saying A to something else. He had not read the bill. And I'm thinking, like, these are the people who are making the decisions that affect us every single day. I'm stuttering. Please, somebody else talk.
No, it does feel staged, to be honest. At this point, it feels like they like I said earlier, that we kind of major on the minor. So they focus on the distractions that get the people's minds away from the decisions that actually matter to them. And then just because they want us to see that a decision was made, to be honest, I feel like that decision was signed, sealed, and delivered in the back room. Right? So they just did that to make it look like, okay, you said we should sit and deliberate on it, or we have done that, and then the yeas have it. And that's what it is. It's looking like they're just staging everything so that people will say, oh, to some extent they're accountable because they're doing it in our faces. But what goes on behind the scenes, we never know.
Was there an actual debate? Because think about it, all we heard was it was put to a voice. Let me show you guys. Before we go further, there's a video that you guys will find quite interesting. There was a member of the House who's a Labour Party member who actually asked that the House have a head count of those who were present and who voted. Watch this video.
Oh, God, no.
Point of order. Yes, Honorable.
The Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Honorable Obi Agocha. I represent the great people of Iguano, Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, since the President's letter concerns, Mr. Speaker, the constitutional procedures that must be followed as enshrined in Section 305, subsection 6B, that says for us to consider this President's request that this House must have two-thirds of members present. Mr. Speaker, may I please ask...
We already have our attendance registers, Honorable colleague, and we will rely on that to ensure.
Mr. Speaker, this is a constitutional...
Yes,
Can we do a head count, Mr. Speaker? To ascertain that we have a quorum.
Yes.
To ascertain that we have...
Yes, yes. Our attendance register will guide us accordingly, Honorable. Please.
Sir?
Our attendance registers will guide us accordingly. Members are still signing, and at the end of the day, we'll take attendance.
Mr. Speaker, can that be made available now for the members to know whether we have formed a quorum? Whether we have formed a quorum, Mr. Speaker, as enshrined in the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, so that our deliberations are not going to be deliberations based on illegality.
It is noted, Honorable. Please, you can sit down. Sit down, please. Your point of order is noted. Please sit down.
It was the look on Blessing's face. But before I come, you saw the look too. But Damilola, look at that. And then look at the wide angle they showed. The House of Representatives is 360. Did it look like you had two-thirds majority? But let's leave that. Maybe we're not seeing. Damilola, what did you think of that exchange?
So for me, I just saw that...
Please, sit down.
Someone wants something done the right way. Someone wants the other person to be shut down. The question I always ask myself is that, do we really want the good of this country? That's the question I always ask myself.
And do we believe in democracy?
And at the end of the day, too, one of the things I've always believed should be right is that I think why all these things are happening is because there's something that's called learned helplessness. Like we, the masses, feel that we're just basically helpless. So we like messiahs. So we've given everything to the leaders. If we really want a country, we really need to start deciding that both the leaders and the led must participate and be engaged. Yes. We need to be, we're not requesting for more. We're not demanding for more. These people at the helm of affairs really believe that we can do anything and walk away with it and get away with anything. So at the end of the day, the decisions that they have, and that's because we don't do anything as well. They get away because they know that, okay, leave them. After two, we will distract them. They'll be all right.
What can Nigerians do? What can Nigerians do who feel perpetually silenced, who feel perpetually oppressed? What are the tools in the hands of the Nigerian that everyone says, okay, the power is with the people, the citizens are the ones with the power? Once you come into that realization, because even former Minister Obi Ezekwesili alluded to that, the power is in the hands of the people. What tools are in the hands of the people?
So, firstly, the tools in the hand of the people.
Please don't say constitution.
No, constitution, no. See, let's leave all the things that have not really worked in our favor.
Yeah.
The truth is that if we want this country to be a better country, firstly, we must believe in sacrifice. We must also look long term. Yeah. Since I was born quite a while ago, right?
Since I was born,
there's been a certain complaint about the government, how the government has been consistently. So it's not today. Yeah. It started for a long time ago. But why has it continued like that? Look at what has happened in Libya, places like Egypt, where the masses have decided that we're going to sacrifice. We're not going to take this, so we're going to look long term. We're not going to accept this. It's the fact that we keep on allowing the people who tell us the same stories to keep on coming on board. Yeah. It's the same stories they tell us all the time. It's the same rights. It's the same things they did in 1985. They're still doing it now, and we're still following. It's the same. So we're not. So these people don't feel threatened in any way. I'm not saying we should threaten anyone, but collectively we have to start demanding more. Also, we also need to start doing better. Look, if I beat traffic, right? Is that the government as well? If I'm going to run a bit, if 4 of us decide to start a farm, because at the end of the day, you realize that if the government hasn't been fantastic, if they've not led us well in the last 40 years, it will still be foolhardy to believe that the government will still solve your problems. We like this messiah mentality that once they come into power, they'll solve it. The truth is that if 4 of us decide to start a farm now and start farming for our families and make income, one of us will decide that we're going to cheat the other person. So it's that government thing. So until we also start building power of our own, our reliance on government is becoming too much. They failed us for too long that it's like now. Don't you do things for yourself? Don't you have a side hustle? Don't you create your own economy? Don't you create your own life and economy? Don't you hustle to make... So at the end of the day, you find out that we can't... It's our continued reliance on them for every little thing that puts us at their mercy. They know that, they can't, they'll shout, they will sing, we can do... Do you get what? So one of the powers that we have is that we need to start coming together as we can't just focus solely on the government. We as individuals, let's start coming and start creating things. Look to a very large extent now, look at Dirty December, for example. It might not be the perfect example. Look at people now came and spent their own money. People worked all year, spent their own money. At the end of the day, you realize that when we also start coming together, building, when our 1 chases 1,000 and our 2 start chasing 10,000, you find out that at the end of the day, things will also start changing at the helms of affairs, and we start demanding more. It also, so when we also as the masses start coming together, we will start finding people we can trust. And like I said, it's not going to be short term. You're not going to expect the president to come 2 years ago and things are going to change. We have to start looking long term. Okay, 10 years, 20 years. If you and I start doing good, we start doing well, and pockets of goodness start coming, amongst us, we'll be able to find, it may not be next 4 years, it may be next 8 years, but we'll find somebody that out of all of us working, we've found people we can trust, we'll find people we can vote into places that will start working. You understand? So
this last point,
long-term thing for me.
Yes, this last point that Damilola made on the long term. As soon as 2023 elections were over, we spoke about it.
Yes, we did.
People already planning 2027. There are people who are already thinking of 27 plus 4, of 32, 31. My math is horrible. Of the next, so politicians are literally ahead of Nigerians when it comes to the game. They think long term. But also, I also want us to understand the intentionality and deliberateness about where Nigerians are. Education, it's deliberate. Sometimes a lot of the issues you see are deliberate because when you're struggling to decide or to find out where the next meal is coming from, how you're going to pay for the next week of school fees. There are people who pay school fees week by week. When you're going to decide how you pay the next week of school fees, when you need to decide how you get your rent done, sometimes you don't have time to focus on your politicians.
So it's deliberate. It's a system that has been created. The truth is that the only way is for us to find how we will break out of the system. It's a system that is working. That's working for those in the helms of affairs. Keep the roads bad so that they will keep on complaining about it. We'll fix it. Is it that really roads are so hard to fix that you fix it this year and it has to be bad next year? Is that how useless engineering is?
How do you get contracts for the boys?
But how do you understand? So this is a vicious cycle that until we start finding a way to break it. And the truth is, we have seen over time people that we can't rely on the government 100%. So until we start begin to do things for ourselves and be able to create create stronger economy. Look at people, look at, for example, look at all these people who are shooting content now. Look at how wealthy a lot of them have become. You'll find out that until you start, not all of them, but a lot of them. Look at people who are online. People are doing, what I'm saying is that
people have taken
the entrepreneurial spirit. People are taking it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, right, we can't just keep complaining. It's
okay,
good to complain, but...
Hold on.
Let me finish that line.
No, we're coming back to it.
No,
because we are not done with our dialogue.
We're not done, please.
Yeah.
Hold on, we have to go for a break. And the reason I was saying when you're talking about content creators is because there's a story about bloggers and platforms.
Okay.
Nigeria's coming for you. But first, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Okay.
It's not... You're still watching Jasiri, and we're live on all our social media platforms. Jesus, you should hear the conversations.
His blessing's already hiding her shame in her face is
She
shame.
cannot go anywhere.
You want to enter the table?
Stay with us on this discussion. Stay, because our very dear lawmakers are giving us content in Nigeria. So yesterday, a video started circulating that made me question whether we are really in 2025 and whether we are a serious country or not. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about. Well, here's the story. So, Honorable Idowu Ibikunle, the minority leader representing Yagba West local government in Kogi State, has come under major scrutiny after a now viral video showed him distributing motorcycle tires to his constituents as a form of, in quote, support. This gesture, which was meant to assist local motorcycle riders, has sparked mixed reactions, of course, on social media. Many users see these gestures inadequate and out of touch with the actual needs of the people, given, the economic challenges in Nigeria. Social media users have criticized the initiative that suggests that better support could have been carried out. All right, Dami, before we come to you, let's take reactions. Favorite 3 words.
If we have reactions.
If we have reactions.
A motorcycle has 2 tires, and all they gave each person was 1.
Reminds me of what Dami just asked.
He's going to repeat.
Yeah.
There's no video, not one single video I see out of Nigeria that makes me proud of this country. It's 2025. This and more are the kind of things we see when we have leaders who are not accountable to people that elected them. He is not to be blamed. Maybe at a point in time, he has shared biscuits and sweets to them, and they all applauded him. So now he is making a better plan. Ah, Jesus. Wow. Yeah. This is deeply disappointing. Honorable Idowu Ibikunle, as the minority leader of Yagba West, should be addressing the pressing needs of his constituents, like insecurity, infrastructure, economic opportunities, rather than distributing motorcycle tires. This gesture feels inadequate and out of touch with the real challenges faced by the people of Kogi State. We deserve better leadership and meaningful solutions. That's all for now.
So, Damilola, please, can you kindly repeat the question that you asked my dear Blessings?
We are here again.
Hey! We are here again.
Blessing, we are here again. Your family don't they give content. But like, first of all, I like to, don't
This information you want to give that I did not send you.
You don't have to send me all the message, but it's really nice to know you're from Kogi.
I'm from Ogorima.
All right, so the first question is, I like the person who asked that, a bike has 2 tires and he's giving 1. So how is it?
In their defense.
But first question.
Don't defend anything, wait.
Okay, so when your uncle was sharing the bike tire, was he sharing it to bike Okada guys, or it was a general sharing in the constituency?
Or maybe was it wheelbarrow? Wheelbarrow uses 1 tire.
It's possible, hey?
That's what.
But is it to motorcyclists or the general?
Or maybe just hang it, just have it in case.
He started with motorcyclists, but again, sometimes in this economy, you can't afford a car, you buy it in parts.
So the thing is,
you buy it in parts.
So maybe they'll couple it. So probably the next batch will come next.
So don't despise the days of little beginning. This thing, it can be a seed. It can be a seed, so that when they can take the tires and go and sell, then they can have some income and go and plant. So the thing, once again,
with the handshake,
with a handshake over tires. So to a very large extent.
I said during the break, Nigerians need to learn to say no.
So the first thing is that they say that 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
No.
But sometimes they say it's the thought that counts. But sometimes it's the kind of thought. Does the thought really count?
No, not all thoughts count, Damilola.
Tires to the constituency. it feels, a lot of times it feels that while I love to praise, right? Praise for effort, but sometimes it just really feels that what they give out is not in consonance with what the people want. There's a disconnect. There's also, you're sharing tires. It's so, okay, how about brake pads? How about engine oil? So that the bike will be whole. How about handlebars? How about clutches?
Or does he have a tire factory? Does he own...
Everybody's asking. I want to say something. So Yoruba people will say in this situation, the Honorable Obanile or Obanwaju, like he's doing what others who have come before him have done. Let me read out what some others have done. House of Representatives member from Borno State, Ahmad Babawo, recently empowered youth with shoe-shining kits, bags of oranges, and other things. Bauchi State Governor Mohammed Abdullahi Abubakar empowered youth and farmers with wheelbarrows. Governor Samuel Ortum of Borno State at one time also empowered the youth of the state with branded wheelbarrows. The governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, at one time gave out goats to female secondary school students in his empowerment project. The goats were only given out to the female students. They were going to keep them for a year, return the mother goat to this government, and then keep the kids for themselves.
Wow.
And kid goats are called kids. A People's Democratic Party lawmaker in Abia State also empowered his constituents with cutlasses and hoes. Then we have... Wait, I want to tell you one story. We have a special report.
Cutlasses and what?
Cutlasses and hose.
I know.
We have one...
Okay,
I have a special story I want to tell. So we have correspondents in Katsina, and there's a special report coming out that's going to be shown on Breakfast Extra. The state governor gave 4 goats to women, and the project is valued at 5.4 billion naira. Reportedly, they paid 140-something thousand for each goat. But the goats in the markets, according to our correspondents, go for between 30 to 40,000. Now, some of the goats are dying. Some of the goats have already been killed because the people you gave goats to are even struggling to feed themselves. And then you ask them that they must return 4 goats in a year. Okay, I'm done now.
God have mercy.
I think we should just. I think we should just
the
say
supply
prayer.
of goods.
I think we just say
it's
prayer
in billions.
Because at the end, so the thing is, these are the things that keep us in that cycle I talked about. That learned helplessness, that cycle of poverty, giving. This is 2025. Did you remember the millennium when they millennium?
Y2K.
Y2K of a century ago.
Stop it.
Yes, that's 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. And now we don't have stable electricity. We are sharing goods. So these are the things that make us really understand that we're in a third world country.
Okay, wait. Let me throw a spanner in the works. We are in Lagos. We're in all honesty, the people sitting at this table are probably part of the top 10% of Nigerians.
It's not me.
You're not top 10%. Not me. You found your voice. Hold on.
I received it.
Wait, keep that voice there. The reason I'm saying that is we are... the Yoruba keeps coming to me. We may be underestimating the power of these... It's going to come from me. Empowerment initiatives to the people. So the guy that gave the shoe shining kit, is that not a job? Do we not see shoe shiners coming up and down, the shoe repair guys walking up and down the streets? Are they not making money? Not necessarily, I don't agree with the wheelbarrows, but are we looking at it from jaded eyes or eyes of people who live in a cosmopolitan area? What do we know that Onibaru, that's wheelbarrow, that's what they do in the markets. What if that is the way one person starts their business? Are we underestimating it because of where we are? Our circumstances are different.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Oh, you found your voice, Auntie Kogi.
Because we've left Kogi. Instead of a shoe-shining kit, how about you build little kiosks for them? Enough of doing things at your own convenience when there's
State governments have actually demolished markets and built these costs that you say, and unfortunately the people that they previously demolished their stalls can't afford them.
Okay, having said that, let's take away the shoe shining, the barrows and the hoes and rakes, Abi, and cutlasses. Why would you say that those things cost you 5 billion and over?
A lot of times.
Why? How?
How? These gross
Meanwhile,
amounts.
one wheelbarrow, or what did you say, is one goat is 40k or 30k in the market. That's my number one.
So at the end of the day, it's still the same vicious cycle. They need to probably just get money out of the system. They need to find the dumbest thing they can do. Because at the end of the day, let's look at it in a 4-year gap, in a 4-year tenor.
And
the people that you gave, shoe shining kits, the ones you gave wheelbarrows, the one you gave goods. At the end of 4 years, what have they become?
Exactly.
So because at the end of the day, you know when we talk about And I understand that, okay, we might be in an urban area and things may look a little bit kosher, but at the end of the day, you know, we all talk about thoughtful gifts.
Yeah.
You want to get a gift that is thoughtful.
Yeah.
So are you trying to solve an immediate hunger, or are you looking at the long term? What I keep saying is, at the end of the day, we need to find a way to look what is sustainable. Because if you give me 4 goats and my family is hungry, we will eat the goats.
The goats are
for you.
Goats suya, goats stew, goats whatever.
If I don't have the skills to be a goat rearer, to multiply goats, so how am I going to do? How am I going to do? We'll eat the goats.
And then I should return 4 goats to you in a year.
Then I'll return 4 goats to the government. So when I'm bringing the goats, is there an office I'm going to lead the goats to and say that, okay, I want to mark my name in the register? At the end of the day, right, I understand the peculiarities of the rural areas, right, and their needs. But what I keep saying is that at the end of the day, we have to decide that, do we want this country to be great? There is enough to make this country great. Absolutely. And it has to be everybody's hands on deck now. That's what I keep preaching. We have seen that these people, they will give us goods. You see, 2027 is coming. They will offer us rice 27 years after the millennium. They will pack noodles for people. They will put Maggi.
When you say it that way, man, 27 years after the millennium, now that hit different.
So it's saying that, look at how far the world has gone. Look at foreign countries. I really do not like to compare us with, first world countries, because we're a third world country. It's important to know exactly where we are so that we can start working, forward.
Towards the goal.
But lots of, like, for example, a car like Jaguar Land Rover, all they are doing now are electric vehicles, no longer fossil fuels. So, and we are still here. So we need to start. I don't know what the National Orientation Agency is doing, but we need to start.
We're going to take a quick time.
We need to start thinking of.
That's a trigger word for me. NOA is a trigger word for me. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
All right.
NOA is a trigger word for me. It
Wow, time is running away from us. Every time, I don't know whether this is now spiritual. Every time always runs away from us on this show. There hasn't been a time where we say, are we still...
and time is running away from Nigeria too.
And time is running away from Nigeria. Now, 27 years after the millennium. Remember that Y2K?
Quarter of a century.
25 now. In 2 years, close eye open. In fact, once you hit June,
Y2K.
that's it. Anyways.
Wow. Okay.
Let's go to our next story. Damila,
our last story.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm having a good time. I'm wondering, are we going to stop this at the level? We better not.
All right, so our last story. The Oyo State High Court, sitting in Ibadan, has dismissed murder charges against Queen Naomi Shilekwola, the ex-wife of the owner of Ife. Okay. Oriyomi Hamzat, owner of Agidigbo FM, and Abdullahi Fasasi, principal of Islamic High School. So we had reported on the show that the 3 parties had been facing charges over December 2024 Stampede at a children's event in Ibadan, which resulted in the deaths of 35 children. Justice B.K. Olawoyin delivered the justice and ruled that holding the defendants liable could discourage the public from engaging in humanitarian activities. As a result, the 4-count charge, including acceleration of death, conspiracy, negligent act causing harm, and failure to provide adequate medical facilities and security, was dismissed.
Now, reacting to the ruling, the Oyo State Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General Biodun Akioma stated that discontinuing the case was in the interest of justice. He said, and I quote, "We withdrew the charge and it was struck out by the court. There is no case against them anymore. They are now free," end quote. The Oyo State government had filed criminal charges against them following the heartbreaking incident that shook not just the city, but the entire country. A move that sparked a lot of debate. It's also now interesting to see that the state government has officially withdrawn all charges against them. Let's quickly see what the reactions are from Nigerians before we have our own reactions and then wrap up the show. Okay, because of time, let's go straight. We had the conversation here. We were questioning why they were being charged, because the stampede, in fact, happened even before the event. The number of people who had gotten to the venue of the event had exceeded the amount of people they were planning. This was even before the event in the early hours of the day, I think between 6 and like 7:30 a.m. that day. And it was very tragic. But as much as it was tragic, was it their fault? And now they're saying that at this point, we don't believe it's their fault, and it would actually discourage people from doing humanitarian public acts. Damilola, what do you think?
So, what I think very quickly, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Firstly, it's a painful situation, and my heart goes out to all the families that lost their children and all that. Yeah. And, you know, if I'm going to throw blames around and all that, I wouldn't do that at the moment. Remember, number one, three things. Number one, we're in a third world country. Number two, there's poverty in the land, and we really, really need, and we are grateful for these people who come out to do humanitarian services to give for free. But thirdly, it still goes back to who we are as a nation, as a people. The truth is, yes, they were trying to do good, but it's now important and clear that when we try to do these things, we also need to go a little step further to ensure security, safety. I think in quote, I think that to a large extent, they really should have envisaged that. Because the truth is that when things are for free, there's a hunger in the land. Exactly. Right? There is. So I'm almost finished. So at the end of the day, I still go back to the fact that now I hope we will learn a lesson as a country. The case being struck out, well, eventually, yes, we're happy for it. We're happy that, okay, they don't have to, you know, suffer any penalties or anything. It's painful. But I hope, for me, I hope we'll see this as a learning curve and begin to focus on excellence as a people, right? And begin to go the extra mile. We all, you know, envy developed countries when we talk. Let's start putting things in place, right? This is a lesson. Sometimes, painfully, that to have change, to have revolution. I know you're boiling. I know I'm no. Just a minute. Sometimes for us to have, you know, good changes, right? We need to focus on what needs to be done. We need to change things. We need to change our mentality. So for me, I just know that everybody has learned from it. I wouldn't say that, you know, if you look at it, should they be thrown in court? They try to do something good for the people.
And she had done previous ones and there had been no issues.
Okay, blessings.
Oh, no, not okay, blessings. We have to go for a quick break. I didn't say we're over. I said go for a quick break. Okay. We'll be right back.
Okay, so you're still live with us on Jatsiri, and I just want to quickly give my 2 cents on this issue. This is
50 kobo for Kogi. I can't let Kogi.
This is a typical example of Olomaja Shuridaron.
Yes, Samuel. Translate for Catherine.
Get in trouble.
Wow, okay.
Because to be honest, there's only so much they could have done, right? If I decide that, okay, it's the festivities and there's so many families that are suffering and I want to reach out to them, and bearing in mind that they've done it over and over again in the past. Yeah. So is it their fault that the poverty level doubled? No. Is it their fault that the greed level doubled? Absolutely not, because apparently what we're seeing or what we heard was that it happened before the event started. They had put security in place that they felt was enough, you know,
for the number they were expecting.
Exactly. So the only lesson I see, if it were me in this situation, God help me, it's not me in Jesus' name, but if it were me, the only lesson I would have learned is don't do good anymore, because the onus is on the state to partner with such initiatives.
Okay, you say you want 2 cents. Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you.
No, mine would be that. So in all of this, after all the brouhaha and the noise in court, what happens to the lives lost? Is it part of all the collateral damage as well? Of, okay, yeah, fine, it wasn't organized properly and that's it. We come back, you do good again. The truth is, lives were lost.
35 children.
As in, come on, are we now trivializing that?
No, we're not trivializing it, but okay, let's agree on this table. Let's say we are the judges now. So you are the judge, lawyer, defense lawyer, prosecuting counsel, jury. What would we on this table? What do we want? What should be done? What do we think?
I would want 35 lives lost not to be in vain, but I don't necessarily think charging them for the charges that were brought against them was the right thing. And I think I said it when this story broke.
And we had
it was a reaction to the outcry, to the emotions in the moment.
In the country, we are too lackadaisical about a lot of things.
But why not charge the parents that were throwing their children over the fence?
Exactly.
If you're charging your parents, now we're looking at the kids themselves. We're not looking at parents. We're looking at the children themselves. The people organizing the events. I think I said it that day. If you're organizing an event and you know how we are as a people, you say there's hunger in the land. You say there's continuous hunger in the land. Listen, you must anticipate. It's a Niger thing. There's some kind of businesses you do. So my guy, you go think fast first.
Damilola, they're in my ear. They've been in my ear for a minute. Damilola is coming back. He's enjoyed himself even so much that he knows he's going to come back.
Well, I mean,
we're not done. The story he wanted us to take, we couldn't take, but we'll be bringing that up. And what a way to end a Hot Topics special Friday. We've tackled some of the biggest stories, but time did not allow us to get to everything we needed to get to. But I want to say a very big thank you to Damilola Goldfish.
Yep.
Thank you.
Our man of the hour. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing your energy and your perspective as well to the conversations we had today. And I know he's going to be a repeat face. You'll see a lot on Jasiri. We'll see you guys on Monday. WAT 10, it's time to go.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.